Well, it's a pleasure to be here today. We are from Havas People. My name is Inga. I am a Senior Art Director and I am here with...
Raleigh. I'm a client partner from Havas People as well. Been working on RWE for just over 3 years.
So the relationship goes back quite a few years, but we want to talk about a more recent project today, and that is a video campaign called Our Journey Offshore. There's a clue in the name because offshore basically means out at sea. So this was a campaign that we captured in the most beautiful surroundings and also captured really authentic and unique employee stories. So we'll be sharing some of that detail today in terms of how we brought it to life, but I guess the best place to start is with a simple question, and that is, who is RWE?
Indeed, thanks Inga. So RWE are the 4th largest energy company in the world. They are global. They are operating in 28 markets and they have 80 locations worldwide. At the moment, they are currently employing over 20,000 employees. So super, like a huge company with loads going on. However, I would say you probably have never heard of them. And that is fundamentally, they started in 1898 in a small city in Germany called Essen. And they've been around for over 125 years. Now that is a huge amount of time. I mean, when we had their anniversary a couple of years ago, we couldn't believe actually this company's been around for such a long time. The trajectory they've gone on has been massive. The journey from where they've started to where they are now is phenomenal. And we as Havas People are super proud to be part of their journey. At the moment, also, they have, there's all types of energy so that they provide, but they work at 5 operating companies, and within that you've got renewables, that's onshore and offshore, you've got clean energy, you've got power, and you've also got generation and supply and trading. Those are all the different opcos. As an agency, we do find it quite complicated to have to work with a company that is so vast and so big, but we make it work, we navigate around that, and because we've got a real great relationship with them, we're able to really push forward with that. The purpose of today is we're going to talk to you about offshore wind. Now, we were approached by our client at RWE. They really wanted to drive awareness and drive applications, but people weren't always aware of who RWE were, firstly, in some of the markets we were looking into. And the other element was that they didn't get the quality hires that they wanted. So they said, can you work with us to create a campaign, a creative campaign that's really going to cut through the market? We set ourselves 3 challenges or objectives as we've got here. So internal participation and advocacy, external awareness was really key. That's about having a media strategy and a media plan that's going to be executed extremely well, and that we're going to be able to reach the target audience that we wanted. And then the final output was about encouraging the right talent to apply. And that's what we were tasked with, and that's what we achieved.
So that's a little bit of context and a little bit of background, and as we said, we've been working with them for a long time, so we could talk about RWE for a very long time. But we're here to talk about that creative idea today, Our Journey Offshore. So we thought the best place to start today was just by, say, play an action and play the teaser for the campaign that we created.
I see the purpose of the work I'm doing, contributing to a sustainable life.
I want to make an impact for my generation and also for future generations.
The best things about the job is creating a greener energy future. With the new methods, the new technologies, we are making the difference at the moment.
To go, try, explore, see, find your passion, to push the boundaries and challenge yourself. It's an amazing feeling working in the offshore wind sector.
I have one of the coolest jobs in the world, actually. I get to develop new offshore wind farms, and that's a huge privilege.
We are securing the future of my children, and I love that.
This is what I always wanted to do. We are really putting a monopile and a turbine and a substation into the sea, producing renewable energy, and that is just amazing.
I want to be a part of the green transition. So I'm actually changing the world with the work I'm doing.
So, our challenge was threefold, but there was also another thing that we wanted to take into consideration, and that was the employer brand and the EVP that we created 3 years ago. And that is called Our Energy Has Impact. And as Raleigh just explained, they do all kinds of energy. So the word energy has a double meaning, because we do talk about the energy that's being harnessed from nature, but we also talk about that human energy, that people energy. And when you multiply that 20,000 times, that's when you can create true impact. And the combined force of the energy from nature and energy from people, this is when impact happens. But the challenge with this brief was that we were not going to talk about all different kinds of energy. We wanted to specifically call out offshore. So again, with the idea, Our Journey Offshore, we have a double meaning in the word offshore. So obviously it's about the energy that we're referencing to, but it's also about all the people that work within this industry sector as well. As you saw in the teaser, everyone is on their own individual path, but collectively as well, they are all traveling together as a company. So that meaning and that sentiment was really, really important for us to get across. And obviously seeing the journey between the EVP and the creative idea seemed like a really easy step. But I'm sure many, many people in this room knows that there is a big process and there's a journey that goes on behind the scenes. So what started with a brief also led to stakeholder interviews, and we wanted to find out a little bit more about this energy in particular. And there was one thing that came to light, and it's this quote here that you see on screen. So many employees who work in renewables, they don't always get the opportunity to visit wind farms themselves. Now that for us was really interesting, because not only did this give us the hook in terms of what we wanted this campaign to be all about, but it also gave us the opportunity to create an experience that we could actually capture on film. So this, I guess, became the start of our journey, because now we had the idea, we knew what we wanted to communicate, we had our insights. The best place to start, or to take this to the next level, was to find the right people, and that was an interesting journey as well.
It was indeed. We had huge engagements. What we did was a huge casting call internally at RWE. We did an open invite, loads of people applied, we set standard questions that they had to answer, and then we got the floodgates basically just opened and we had a huge response. We then found these 5 amazing individuals. They had great stories, but it wasn't just the stories, it was their connection, and it was the fact that they had different backgrounds and they were based in different locations. So it was super amazing for us to kind of meet these individuals. And then what we also wanted to make sure we did was keep the other people who had applied warm, because if they've taken their time to apply and want to be part of the actual campaign, we wanted to make sure that we kind of really liaised with them and let them know that we were going to keep their details on file, and we'll talk to them however things move forward. So these guys were just really key to it, and they had great stories which we'll go on to tell you about. You'll see more around them, but it was just a pleasure for us to actually find these 5 individuals. The other thing, we went to Denmark, so it was absolutely amazing. Well, I didn't.
It's a small thing. We just went to Denmark.
I didn't go to Denmark, but Inga went to Denmark with the crew. So what was key with this location? So they've got loads and loads of different sites. We chose here not just because it's beautiful, but also because we had a safety manager who was working on site, and he worked with our project director to ensure all the logistics. We were flying drones. The team, basically climbed the wind turbines, and they were on boats. So we needed to make sure that they were safe. That was one of the main things we wanted to do. He worked really closely with us and ensured that, and it just really made a smooth campaign. Inga will go on and talk about the amazing how the air was fresh and it was clean and all of this stuff like that. But for me, safety was really key for us, and we wanted our ambassadors to feel safe, and they did.
Definitely, big creative ambition there. And I think not only did we capture an experience, for the employees, but it also became an experience for us. And it was quite exciting being there on the day. A bit of a fun fact that went on behind the scenes, because we were checking, the weather predictions all the time, and the weather said thunder, lightning, and rain. Obviously not ideal, but somehow it all cleared up, and we actually managed to go out at sea after all. So we were really lucky, but obviously with the safety procedures in place, that was a big worry of us that we literally had no control over. But I can confirm the feeling of just being out, in open landscape, and the only thing you can hear are these turbines, spinning, was a really unique experience. And just looking at the number on screen as well, like something that is nearly 70 meters tall, it's almost impossible to grasp exactly how big that is. And I think the scale, you get a clue when you look at the boat, because I can confirm the boat was actually quite big. But yeah, in comparison to the wind farm, it felt pretty small. But from the insight, we knew pretty early on that we kind of needed a bit more time in order to tell this story, to share this journey. So we created a video series where we have 6 different episodes. So the creative idea is really simple. It's called Our Journey Offshore. So it starts onshore. We then take our employees on a journey. We travel on this vessel, on a boat, until we end on a high. Quite literally, because some of them actually managed to climb a wind turbine and they went all the way to the top. So that was a pretty spectacular experience. So in many ways, this was a literal journey, but it was also an emotive one. So each episode, they offer something different. So each episode have a different theme, where we get to know the ambassadors in a slightly different way, and they tell, share their stories of what brought them here. What do they believe in? What is their purpose? What inspires them? And I think this is where we saw the true impact of really authentic storytelling as well. There are 6 images on this screen, and there's a very famous saying that 1 image is worth 1,000 words. So I could be talking about this for a really long time, and we will be playing a couple of these episodes today, but I would like to highlight something Benjamin says in episode 2. Because he talks about, the weather, the challenges, the bigger the challenge, the better the reward. Big tools, big vessels, big turbines, big impact. It's all about the big, which was really exciting to hear. In episode 3, we hear from Christina. She is very often the only non-engineer in a room, and therefore she brings a different perspective. So diversity of thought is really key. Obviously, RWE being an international company, global collaboration is key to what they do. And I think you will see, when you watch the video series, that Eva is she's got a really contagious energy. She just radiates passion, and she says, I'm so into renewable energies, and it's really clear. And it's incredible to see, and I'm so glad we managed to capture that on film. Like I said, we're not going to have time to play all of these videos today, but we thought it was worth starting with episode 1, and this is where we'll hear from Denim and his story and his reason for working for RWE.
My name is Denim, and I work for RWE Offshore as a project engineer. I come from a very small town in India. Back then, globally, more than 1 billion people did not have access to electricity. When I was doing my studies and schooling, we used to have frequent power cuts. The only source of light that we used to have was either the candle light or the kerosene lamp. And then later on, we also started using this solar lamp. And still, even now, there are more than 700 million people in this world who do not have access to electricity. This made me inspired to pursue my career in the renewable energy sector. And after that, there was no looking back. I continued my journey, and here I am working in the offshore wind sector.
I see the purpose of the work I'm doing. I am part and contributing to a sustainable life, and we are securing the future of my children. And I love that.
My motivation to join RWE was because I saw the other side of being on the vessel, working on the installation, and I thought there would be so many options to optimize installation, schedules, methods.
I want to be a part of the green transition, so I feel like I'm contributing, that I'm actually changing the world with the work I'm doing.
My aim was always to build something. And this is how I ended up at RWE, because they are actually building the component, they have the project, and they are doing all the surrounding works. And then at the end, we are really putting a monopile and a turbine and a substation into the sea. And this is what I always wanted to do. From here, I'm creating a greener energy future.
So it's safe to say we wanted to create and capture something very different, something cinematic, something epic. Well, that was a word that we used a lot as well behind the scenes. It had to be epic because with a big creative idea, we wanted to make sure that we could do it justice when we actually captured this on film. The interesting thing about capturing this series as well is obviously we follow the journey of these 5 people, but I'm really glad that we have surround sound in here because you can actually hear the wind and you can almost like feel the wind, and throughout the series as well, there's different ways that you kind of engage with the wind as well. So in a way, it was almost like the wind itself became the 6th character in this content series. Stephanie, she has a very poetic way of describing what this feeling is like to her. So for that very reason, we thought it was worth showing you episode 6 as well. And obviously there's a lot that's happened in between episode 1 and episode 6. Like I said, each episode offers something very different. So if you are keen, you can always watch the rest in your own time. But Stephanie, she coins this feeling in 2 very beautiful words.
For me, it's really important to have work which I think I can make an impact with. I just enjoy it when I see an offshore wind farm. I see it and I think it's beautiful.
The turbines for me is like wind romance. Just assuming the sunset going down and then you have the turbines in front. This is wind romance.
That's beautiful.
It was the first time ever I visited offshore. Of course, I work mainly sitting in the office, but to be actually going to the site and being offshore and then seeing the wind farm, it's such an amazing experience. It also helps you connect the dots with what you work and how it is being implemented. And I'm very happy and proud to be part of this offshore industry.
It's incredible.
You're producing electricity out of the wind. You're creating a better world with renewable energies.
I see the purpose of the work I'm doing, contributing to a sustainable life. We are securing the future of my children, and I love that.
I'm very proud of what we're doing, creating a greener energy future. With the new methods, the new technologies, we are making the difference at the moment.
It definitely excites me. I'm totally into renewable energies.
One of the best things about my job is that I get to make a difference every day. I feel like I'm doing a job with a meaning, and I can see the results of my work out there spinning in the ocean. From here, I'm changing the world with the work I'm doing.
It was really incredible to see that sense of pride really come through after we launched the campaign. It all went live. And not only did our ambassadors, scream and shout about this on their own social channels, you could really see it in the comment section as well, people celebrating, cheering them on, and you could really get a feel for that culture. And we know that there were many conversations being had, in meeting rooms and hallways, and that employee engagement and that sense of pride really shone through. But as we've been saying, we wanted to go big with this idea, and we did big for launch as well, didn't we?
We did. So our client, Chris, shout out to him. He would have been here today to present, but he wasn't able to. He is super creative and really open to kind of ideas. And we worked with him to do a premiere, basically. We hired out a venue in Dusseldorf, and we invited over 300 people to attend, to sit down, watch the episodes. We had merch, they had popcorn, there was food, there was snacks, there was drinks. It was amazing. The head of Offshore also came along, and we flew out the ambassadors to the event. They felt like celebrities, so yeah, it was just a really great day. That really helped with the objective of that internal kind of participation, what we really wanted. And at the end of the premiere, everybody came over to them and were like, how can we be a part of that? This is great. Are you going to do it again? Not only did we have 300 people on site, we also streamed it. So there was people globally who also dialed in and watched the event. So it was a great day, and everybody felt really, really proud. The second thing was external awareness. So we had created so much content that we were able to put multiple long form, short form, social cuts, video content, everything. We had a landing page, we housed all of the episodes. We ran a campaign, a really well executed media plan, and we were able to push that out to mass markets, the markets that we were trying to. It actually reached so many more people, and that was fundamentally what we wanted to do, which was the final objective, was encouraging people to apply. So their applications went through the roof. As you can see here, in 2023, there was a set number of applications that they had. Once we'd done the campaign, there was plus 86%, plus 108%, plus 61%. Germany obviously is the market that they were known in, but the UK and Japan, they were not. So the client was super happy that the whole campaign was successful, because fundamentally it is about return on investment, and we saw those applications, we saw the quality there.
So there were quite a few takeaways and learnings, and probably more than we can list on this page even, but I think, spoken as a true creative, staying true to the integrity of the idea was really, really key. And I think shout out to Chris and our client, because it really takes grit and bravery to see an idea, presented in a PowerPoint presentation and say, we're going to do this and we're going to make it a reality. So staying true to the integrity of the idea, never compromising in that entire process, is probably the biggest learning for me.
And for me, I'd say it's a combination. It's client relationships is really, really important. Obviously, I'm in client service, so it is about having that transparency with my client and that they trust me. And it's finding a way to do it properly. Often, sometimes, we can think about trying to cut corners and stuff like that. We really didn't want to do that for this. We wanted to make sure we did it properly. We had that real respect and relationship with our client that we were able to talk to them about it. And they said, yeah, let's go ahead and let's do this properly. So that was a great learning for me.
Just at the very end, we just like to include a thank you page, because I think without this particular group of ambassadors, they were so generous with what they shared and the stories that we managed to capture on film. The series really wouldn't have been the same without them. So that authenticity was really, really key in making this a successful campaign. Rødsand as well, an incredible location in Denmark, as we said. The on-site crew, incredible. Anything was possible to do, and just working with somebody that knew the risk and the challenges of being out at sea was definitely key as well.
Yeah, and just finally, Havas People, allowing us to do that, but our client fundamentally, RWE, an amazing client, absolutely love working with them and hope to continue to.
So it's definitely been a journey, but we've all been on it together. But we truly believe this is how we can create work that has true impact. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much. We almost don't have time for any questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to let one squeeze in if anyone's got a quick question. Yes, here we go. Again, if you can say who you are, which organisation you're with, and then ask away. And if we can make the answer snappy.
Hi, I'm Anna Fleetwood from Sage. I was just wondering, obviously that was a really expensive shoot. How did you ensure, or was there any worries about using those colleagues in this and then them potentially leaving? Was there any assessment of the ambassadors you used with that in mind?
To be honest, I think we didn't. We didn't at that time, but we do know that most of them were quite, because we'd spoken to them and they were quite loyal to RWE, it didn't seem like they were in that mindset to want to leave or anything like that. But yeah, that is something that possibly, our project director probably did think about that because she was involved in that. But no, it was expensive, and it was something that we had to be mindful of. But we kind of had that trust with the employees that they were fine with it.
But that's something that can always happen regardless of what you do. So I think we did find, you know, the right people. They were really keen to be involved and share their journey. So that was obviously the first step. I forgot what I was going to say now. But yeah, you're always going to have that risk anyway. So just finding the right people who are committed to the job, and I think just capturing that sense of pride is obviously, quite
And it's
key.
unlikely that all 5 would leave, so got enough content for at least 4.
Fantastic. Okay, I thought they were great videos. By the way, we also organise, just a shameless plug here, the Lens Awards for Corporate Video. I don't know if you're planning on entering those, but they do very well there. Ladies and gentlemen, Rally and Inga, thank you very much.